How's it going, guys? So we just did a breakdown of the quarterfinals from this year's World Championships. Now we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a preview and just sort of talk about the semifinal matchups. First off, we have Orihen versus SKT, and then second we have Fnatic versus Q Tigers, both a European versus Korean matchups. Very cool, very exciting to see. Some really interesting matchups as well. So let's go ahead and just get into it. First off, again, we have on Saturday we have Orihen against SKT. Uh, I I don't think it's a question at this point that SKT is the hands down favorites, far away the favorites to win the World Championships. And honestly, I don't really see any situation where they would lose a game. So I'm going to go 3-0 here, SKT. I think Orihen maybe could take a game, but it's very unlikely. Peke has been able to show that he can maybe keep up with Faker, although Faker's has gotten the better hand in their matchups that they've had. But I don't think Peke is the kind of Peke has shown that he's not a mid laner that's going to roll over to Faker. Also, in the same respect, I don't think Soaz is going to roll over to Marin. I think Bang actually, or Bang, the real matchup is gonna be Bang and Wolf against Niels and Mithy. I think that as well as Mithy and Niels has played this World Championships, I'd be very surprised if they got above the upper hand on Bang and Wolf, who have also played extremely well and are also more accustomed to playing. I guess at this high level or playing against this level of skill. I and also I think that Bangi and Amazing also, I think Bangi outclasses Amazing in this regard. I don't see Amazing as an incredibly talented jungler. I think he works really well within his team composition. I just don't see him as extremely talented. And I think Bangi as well, I don't see him as being extremely talented, but I think he works. He's absolutely perfect for this team and what they want to do, especially now that they are sort of leaving Faker on an island and he's going to help Marin a little bit more, and coming to help Faker just a little bit, and not really focusing on that mid lane anymore. Also, I think the flexibility of having Faker and EasyHoon is going to have a big deal. As of right now, they have EasyHoon listed as the starter, and then Faker on the bench, and I think that can have some mind games to play with Orihen as well. But I don't really see Orihen taking a game. I see SKT winning this one rather easily. The real interesting matchup here is going to be Fnatic against Q Tigers. I think this is the more interesting of the two. Definitely, I've said it before and I'll say it again. To me, Q Tigers is the best mid to late game shot calling team and decision making team in the world. At Worlds and in the world, I don't see any team being better than them. Same goes actually for Fnatic. I think Fnatic is the second best team at that. I think they make some great decision making. They may maybe not have the skill to pull off some of the things they're doing, but you can definitely see sort of the strategy or whatever they're trying to do. You can see it throughout their games, and you understand that they understand what they're supposed to be doing. I think that the sort of turning point here is I think Fnatic does get a little bit cocky. I think they do pick things like, especially Huni, I think picks certain champions that he thinks he can just kind of beat people on and he'll pick it into bad matchups, and just really doesn't care. He'll pick it for the comp and think that he'll do okay in lane when that's really not the case, especially against someone like Smeb, who's an extremely strong top laner. I think Febin is a better playmaking mid than Koro, but I don't think that. I think Koro is going to be playing defensive enough to where Febin's not going to be able to do much. I think that Reckless and Yelstar definitely have an advantage, but in the bot lane, I just don't necessarily see them as being overly strong in that bot lane and being able to take over the game like they have been. I think Prey and Gorilla. Gorilla especially, I think, is the best support player here at Worlds. Prey, I think Reckless is the better AD carry, but I think Gorilla makes up for Prey's deficiencies in a way that make them the better pair, if that makes sense. And Reignover and Hojin, I think, is a push. I think that's pretty even overall. But overall, I think the Coup Tigers work better as a unit, and so I think they're going to take it 3-1. I think Fnatic might get a little bit cocky. I think they might, start picking. They've shown that they've picked champions in the bad matchups, and just for the comp, they've looks like they've practiced something, and they haven't really. Uh, they practice one or two comps, and then they go ahead and exit those one or two comps, no matter what. No matter what sort of counter picks they see or what they don't adapt very well, is what I'm saying. And you sort of saw that exposed at the EU playoffs against Orihen, and throughout this World Championships, we've seen a little bit in that second week. But overall, I think the Coup Tigers are better suited in a series, and better at making adjustments, and I think they'll be okay to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to be an SKT Coup Tigers final. I'm pretty confident in saying that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do a breakdown of those semis-finals and then maybe a finals preview before we end our coverage here of Worlds 2015. But yeah, with that said, have a good day, guys, and enjoy watching the matches this weekend.